have questions, you can drop it in the chat box. We attend to it one after the other. Thank you.
Okay, good morning everyone. As she said, my name is Emonina Aquara, but you can call me Anna. I go with Anna any day, anytime. I'm a lawyer, author, speaker, stroke survivor, and advocate, and entrepreneur. I have a business called Benin Luxury. We deal with selling and renting of boats, beach houses, shortlets, private jets. We deal with luxury. And I have a foundation called My Ability in Disability. And I'm the founder of World Stroke Day Fun Fair. The first one is holding October 29th of this year. So that's for introduction. If I ask everybody to introduce themselves, well, I don't think we'll have the time. So maybe you can introduce yourself on the chat, what's it called, chat box, and that's fine. And I also added a form, link to the form. So at the end of this session, you would, what's it called, fill the form if you want, because I like to see that, oh, I'm not wasting your time and everything. So let's start. Um, sure. Okay. So this is stroke awareness, understanding the silent stress. So I would start from my story and how I got the stroke, how I fought it and overcome it, like, really bad. So I had a stroke when I was 23 years old. Now I am 31. I'll be 31 on the 30th of this month. So I had a stroke when I was 23, and that moment, that moment that it struck me, I'm like, okay, so what is happening? Because I was getting ready to go out. I was in Lagos. I was getting ready to go out with my friend to, what's it called, celebrity basketball. I don't think they do it anymore, but I was planning to go there, dressed up and everything. I was looking like a baby girl and everything. Then suddenly I fell down and I couldn't move. So normally when you fall down, the reaction is to stand up, right? But in my case, I couldn't move. I'm like, okay, so what is happening? Like, I can't move. What's happening? So my cousins, they were confused too. Like, stand up now. Like, I couldn't stand up. I was just lying down there. So they took me to the hospital, and that hospital didn't even know what they were doing, because the nurse just kept me in a room and left me. When my friends came in the middle of the night and they were shouting and screaming at the nurse, why is she there? And I couldn't even do anything. I was peeing on my body. So when my friends came, they saw me peeing on my body, and with nobody to attend to me. So the next day, my cousins came to take me out of the hospital. So, in the midst of looking for a proper hospital to give me proper medical attention, it took them almost 24 hours. You know, they, they went to four hospitals. I can't really remember the hospitals, but I think we went to Lutz. I think Lutz was the first one they went to. So Lutz said they didn't have a bed, but they did, like, I think CT scan and everything. Then they told my auntie that, oh, it's a stroke and everything. So they from there they went to hospitals upon hospitals. They didn't want a death rate, like they didn't want an increased death rate in their hospital, because they all thought that I would die. Because when somebody has a stroke, and when you look at the person, I'm like, okay, so is this person going to survive or not? So I was looking like I was going to die. you know so we finally went to the St. Nicholas in Lagos Island, and they took me in, and attended to me. All this while, okay. Is somebody okay, okay, good. Okay, so um during that time I was conscious and unconscious, and I didn't know what was happening. So I blanked out after the first day. I was unconscious for like 3 days. So prior to this event, I had anemia. I had some infection that my white blood, I can't remember, my white blood cells was increasing and killing my red blood cells. So that's why I had anemia. And I had a blood clot, DVT, the dangerous blood clot. So DVT is deep thrombosis, no, deep vein thrombosis. So it roams around your body. So sometimes my hand would start paining me and it would go. Sometimes my legs. So I even stopped wearing high shoes because I couldn't walk with it. So I went to the hospital, that hospital, and they gave me drugs and injections. They gave me an injection to fight the infection that was making my white blood cell rise up so bad. So they didn't. I think so. The day that they found out that I had DVT after my scan and everything, they didn't. I don't know how to put it. They didn't really give me attention. All they did was give me a drug. I think the name of the drug is warfarin. I'm not a doctor, neither am I a pharmacist, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing it really well. So they gave me that warfarin, and the first day that I took it, I had a stroke. I fell down. So the thing is that they were supposed to put me on bed rest. They were supposed to be checking on me, because this drug is, they have to check on me. So it's not like Panadol. Then when they give you Panadol and tell you to go home and rest, you know. So I actually asked them, can I go out? They said yes. So obviously they wanted my money, and that's all they cared about. So I had a stroke, and I got to know in the third day when I woke up, and I couldn't do anything. Um my body was numb. I couldn't move my leg, my hand. I couldn't move my right side of my body. It was tough, really. Then I started recovering little by little. I was when I had the stroke, I couldn't talk. I couldn't even swallow. So for months, they no. When I was in hospital, they gave me like drip with, I don't know how I was feeding, but through the drip I could feed. So when they discharged me from the hospital, I couldn't even swallow because it was painful. So imagine seeing all this food. Like, I mean, I'm a foodie, because it, like, you can understand if, like, when I can see food like fried rice, jollof rice, everything that I like, and I can't eat it. So that was one. I couldn't talk. Like, after some months, yeah, I just decided to go mute, because hey, it's not like I you can understand when my speech started clearing up. I was speaking absolutely rubbish. So if I want to say this guy is running, I might say da da da, So it was like that. So I couldn't raise my hand, couldn't raise my leg and everything. I was like a vegetable. I was stuck in my body. So I started recovering little by little. Um, I started with a walker. I was using a walker. From the walker, I started using what's it called, walking stick. After the walking stick, as my recovery went on, I started using leg support and hand support, because before my hand was closed like this, I couldn't open it. So it's not like I can open it totally right now, but hey, I can open it like this. So it was difficult, you know. So when I was going through recovery, it was hard, but there was a little voice that was telling me that, hey, you come out of it and you'll be greater and you share your story, and that's what I am doing right now. So they couldn't find what caused the stroke. So it's like they couldn't. It was between stress, because I was under so much stress, or because when I had the stroke, they found out that I had leaky heart valve. So like your maybe I can use your heart is leaking, or my heart is leaking. So one valve in my heart is leaking. So they couldn't see if the what's it called the stress triggered that leaky heart valve. It was confusing. You know, so I started recovering. I started because from childhood I was a determined child. Like I was a happy child. So I want to do everything by myself. I am excited. I want to go to this party. I want to go to this event. I want to go to work and everything. So me having a stroke was like, what's going on? I can't do this. So I fought. I really fought hard. So in no time I was beating myself. I stopped my auntie from beating me and everything. So something really bad happened. So I am an only child from my mom, and I have other brothers and sisters, half brothers and sisters. So my mom came to the hospital the next day. So, she was staying in Worry. She came from Worry the next day, and she was scared because I'm her only child. Would I survive this? Would I die and leave her? She was scared. So I know that I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything, but I tried my best to tell her that I'll be okay. I'll just use my left hand and everything, that, oh, I'll be okay. But she didn't listen. So when it was like I would come out of it was rather too late. My mom had chronic kidney disease. So it went like it was it was like this. When I was in the hospital, every day her blood pressure would go high, 200, 210, 190. you know and she couldn't help it. With drugs and everything, they couldn't actually help it. So of course she had chronic kidney disease. So you can see that she was my caretaker when I had a stroke. But when she had chronic kidney disease, I was her caretaker. I was going all around because she needed dialysis, and dialysis is not cheap at all. You know, it's like every week we'll spend up to 75,000 to 100,000 for her dialysis. You know, so that was 2018, because I had a stroke in 2015, 2018, and it was tough. And later, November 21st of 2018, she gave up the ghost because she had tried, you know. So there's two things. I know what getting a stroke can do to the person and the family, you know. So you can see that I lost my mom when she was taking care of me, and I was recovering from stroke. This is why I decided to, spread the stroke awareness, because it could happen to anybody. And, most of them are depressed. I mean, okay, so let's do this. If you know anybody that had a stroke, your mom, dad, um, siblings, friend, and everything, please, I need you to write it on the chat box and will know. So it was really difficult. Recovering was difficult. Then I came back to Lagos. I started my business, Bene Luxury, and by God's grace, is a success. You know. Then 3 months ago, yeah, in May, I got married. You know, so I started living my life. I started living my life as normal as if I can do this, if I can do a lot, if I can do this, you can. That's the that's the mandate for everybody, you know. So we will start with the meaning of stroke, and we'll continue from there. From my story, it's okay. Before I start the session, does anybody have? Okay, good. So Timothy said he knows somebody and is gradually recovering. Yeah. So is there any questions about my story? Just raise your hand if you have any questions, because I'm here to um, answer any question. So just raise your hand in 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm guessing
May
no.
I ask you a question?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, thank you for sharing your experience. Um, and again, before my questions, let me say congratulations to you for
Thank you.
surviving um, this, like, what I call terrible and dangerous illness. Thank God that you survived it. However, while you were speaking, I was listening to hear a part of exactly what was now diagnosed as the real cause of that
The
of
stroke.
that stroke. So I'm not sure I had what was eventually diagnosed as the real cause, and I'm not sure I had that. So because for
Okay.
me, I think it is important for preventive um, measure kind of. I think it's important we know what is the cause, what was eventually diagnosed as a cause,
Okay.
and what to be done to avert, that cause. So I think it will be fundamental and important for the audience. So I just thought to ask if there's anything in that relation. Thank you.
Okay. I actually said it. Um, so it was between two things. I had, or they found out that I had leaky heart valve, and they don't even know if that was what triggered stroke. Like the doctors were not sure. Yeah. So they just gave me drugs, and still till today I still take drugs, and go to the hospital for checkup. Twice every year. You know. So it's either that triggered it, or stress, because I was under so much stress at that period that I had the, what's it called, um uh the stroke. And before, when I had the anemia, I had the blood clots and everything, I was under stress. So it's either the stress or the leaky heart valve. It's either, in fact, the two, because it might be possible that the stress triggered the leaky heart valve to have, like, I will have a stroke and everything. So that's the thing, like either stress or the leaky heart valve. That's it. It could be
Okay.
anything.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. But was there at any point BP was equally part of the cause? Was BP, high BP, contributed to it when you were going through those stress?
Okay.
Was the BP speaking to that as well or something?
Okay. So when it was not the BP, because my BP is always 120 to 130. So it was not, when they checked it, my cholesterol was okay, the BP was okay. So that's why they just narrowed it to either stress or the leaky heart valve. So any other question? Any other question?
Yes,
Of
yes,
course.
please.
Yeah.
I have a question, please. Can you hear me?